So
So,
what?
yeah, Tim, your phone's going to go off in a second with a tsunami warning, and it is just a warning drill. So you don't need to immediately bail and leave us all hanging.
Just for the record, so if there were a real tsunami, where the hell are we going? Underwater? Other than that, where are we going?
To the second
Up
floor.
ground.
To
Wait,
the
if you
s-
were to sell in Puerto Rico, where would you move to? Where would you
You
You'd
You have
have
mean
to
to
go
go inland
upstairs.
towards the mountains with everybody else, I guess. But
but
I don't
Julie,
know.
do you know where we're actually supposed to go, joking aside?
Yeah, the pavilion,
The pavilion. Okay, a five-story.
because it's 2.5 stories.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Yeah.
We better start building our ark. Welcome back to Powerhouse Talk. We've got a great show for all of you today. I want to tell you what we're going to be talking about. The real estate industry isn't changing. It's fighting for a civil war over who controls the customer, the listing, the paycheck. Don't worry, we're going to make it interesting. Is AI versus all of us, or is AI going to make it so we can all become super agents empowered by AI? So the three segments are, and you guys have to tell me whether you like this, the name of this first segment. Julie and I just thought of it. Segment one, is it Chewy or is it Hooey? You guys know
Ew.
you guys know what Hooey is?
No, it sounds gross.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Now you know what it is. All
You,
right.
you might say, that's a bunch of hooey. That's how you'd use that word.
Casey got it right. Sounds gross.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the first topic is going to be, is it Chewy or is it Hooey? Something from real estate news that we're going to pick through and we're going to dissect to find out whether or not it's something we should all be thinking about or whether it is Hooey. The second segment is the touring agreements and the death of buyer agent trust. I'm hoping you guys are going to carry that segment because I have literally nothing to contribute. Segment four, who really controls your listing, Zillow, Compass, or the war on inventory? And this is something we debated whether we were going to talk about it or not, because some of us think this is not something that agents care about, but I think we're going to frame it so that I think you guys will understand how to present this to your sellers who might be getting a lot of misinformation from competing listing agents, for example. And segment four, assuming we get there, is something that I added in, and hopefully this isn't boring. Robo taxis, Tesla Cybercabs are coming. How does this change real estate? Because I think it's going to. And we also want to leave time at the end, Mrs. Harris, for
Yep.
us to read some of the five-star reviews and thank people for taking the time to leave the five-star reviews. Now, before we get to the first segment, is it Chewy or is it Hooey? Yeah, I think Casey's right. That is sounding gross. Maybe we need
That sounds like something Max would say.
that sounds like something that you need extra wipes for when you're working on a diaper. But in any event, so,
Ew.
ew, right?
Totally ew.
Yeah, our daughter's 12, but it's still not been enough time. We're still recovering.
I'm fully convinced that your daughter could like be a brain surgeon right now because she seems so smart.
Oh, you have no
Well,
idea.
thank you.
I could tell you stories.
We'll see. It's too soon to tell.
Yeah. Well, she is being tested right now because they want to have her skip like at least one grade in school. So,
We'll
yeah.
see.
In sports, we held Parker back so he could be the biggest on the field in court.
Well, I
That's
mean,
cool.
that's good if you have a
Yeah,
I only
athletic
said that
boy.
I only said that to see Chris's reaction. We did hold him back, but it was because of educational purposes. But I just wanted to see what you're gonna say.
I
Well,
don't think I was held back. I think I decided to stay back. But I was in second grade, so who knows what really happened.
hold on. Mr. CEO failed the second grade.
I didn't fail the second grade, but the kids that said that, I spent the rest of my school career proving them wrong.
Clearly,
I'm not going to stand around here and
did a
beat my
great
chest.
job,
I'm
Frank.
not going to stand around and beat my chest and act like I'm the smartest person on this Zoom because I happen to know I'm not. Because Mr. freaking
Dan.
sub commander there is actually, he doesn't say much, but when he does, if you listen, he's actually kind of smart. So,
Thank you.
yeah, I said kind of, Dan.
And like
Well,
Elon Musk.
yeah, well, no, but I mean, I'll tell you right now, if you guys are ever trying to solve a complicated problem, Dan's got a very wicked smart way of thinking through things. Actually, Heller, a lot like you. You guys should become better friends. Very similar in how you guys pick through things. So in any event, let's go to this first story. Is it Chewy or is it Hooey? Florida man uses AI to sell his home. Did AI really sell a house and replace an agent? All right, let's go through it. Mr. Heller, you saw this story. It was everywhere. It made it into every news headline. Everyone was talking about agents can be thrown on the trash heap of history because AI can finally do what real estate agents can do. Is it Chewy or is it Hooey?
Is there anything in between?
Uh, I don't know. I guess you're going to make it Chewy. because you want to talk about it.
I want to talk about it.
Let's go.
AI. So what he did and how he did it was smart, and there's no reason why AI can't do a lot of those things. Now, will it work every time? No. Was there some luck involved? Was there, yeah, all those other things contributed. But there's a lot of activities, a lot of things that we do that machines can do and will be doing and are doing.
Okay. All right. I'll hold off on my opinion. Casey Anderson, what do you think? And thank you for joining us from South Carolina on your vacation.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. So I have two things. Number one, the guy, if you watch the video, if that was the actual guy that was selling his house, I don't know if it was an actor, but he he looks like he shouldn't be working with a real estate agent. He looked very from the dinosaur times. So I don't know who he was, what he was doing, but I just feel like he doesn't look like he enjoys social interaction, just respectfully. And I feel like a lot of people in my team said the same thing. Weird vibes. But number two, he still used the MLS to sell, and he still used a real estate attorney that was owned by another real estate brokerage. They had like a joint venture. So he still used both of those parties. And anybody that's going to also undervalue your own home, you're going to get multiple offers, whether you're for sale by owner or you're trying to use ChatGPT to sell it yourself. So did AI actually sell it for him? No. Did he go through and get an outline and structure of what he should do? Yes. And he still used the MLS.
Okay. So Dan, what do you think? Chewy or Hooey?
I think it's Hooey. I think it's just another FISBO. I hope more people try it so we can identify more people that need to sell their home that ultimately end up with an agent. In this particular case, though, I don't think we have enough information to know if it actually happened and how the result was. I pulled the Broward County tax records. He's still
told you guys
listed.
he was smart.
He's still listed as the owner. I haven't, and maybe Casey can dive because he's in your MLS and see if it actually got in the MLS or if this whole thing is made up. But there's no public record of the sale, and usually if it was in the MLS, like Redfin would have picked it up, and I checked those sites. So like, if it happened, great, it's another FISBO. And B, how did it compare to what his neighbors did? He got supposedly five quick offers. Maybe he was severely underpriced.
Right. Oh, go ahead. Well,
And Broward won't show the sale for like 30 days, so that's normal.
But did you check your MLS? Because if it was listed as even with a limited service, it would be in there.
It was a limited, like weird 1% flat fee service. So again, still a brokerage. So all of this hoopla is just, ew,
but Casey, he's asking, did it actually does it show sold in the MLS? Because it does show sold in the MLS. Okay. All right. So we're still going to go with Hooey-ish. All right, Julie, what are you thinking?
I'm going with Hooey as well. AI did not actually sell the house. That's the headline. That's supposed to stir it all up. What the real headline, as often we find is the case, is FISBO uses ChatGPT. That's what happened. And so what it is and what it isn't is very clear. What it is, AI is replaced a non-licensed assistant. That's what it did. It created some checklists for him. It probably helped him with pricing a little bit, maybe gave him a little bit of strategy, but that's the same thing that an unlicensed assistant can do. Okay. What it is not is a trusted advisor. It's not a strategist, and it's certainly not accountable to the outcome. So I call Hooey on this. AI did not actually sell the house. And I would agree with, I think, Chris, you said it, or I think all of you guys said, if it does something from that headline, it'll be encouraging more for sale by owners to take a shot at it. And, maybe some of them will win and maybe some of them won't. But I vote more for sale by owners because guess what? There's a phone number and a motivated seller right there.
Well, but also this is nothing new. This has been around forever. It's just an assist to sell. It's a help you sell. And the guy just basically listed with a, discount brokerage, of which there's zillions everywhere. And well, there usually are in most markets. And that's all it was. So it is. So I have a secondary question then. If this was just a bunch of hooey, which it mostly was based on the headline alone, who was promoting this? Why was this being valied about? Who's the one was there something specific that was benefiting from this story?
I was gonna say the same thing, Tim. I feel like this was planted by some some type of ChatGPT cloud, whatever, trying to push out the story to say that, they need ChatGPT for these reasons. And I think that there's going to be a company offering some type of integration with ChatGPT of, hey, if you hire us and pay a flat fee, then you don't need agents because here's a case in point of who just successfully did it. And I think it's going to be a real estate company that is like Zillow, Redfin, somebody is going to integrate and push some type of side of like, hey, if you don't want to use an agent, click this and do it yourself. I think that's what's going to be the next push.
So do you guys have any conspiracy theories around whether was it just a catchy headline that was getting clicks and people just, that's as simple as that? Or do you think there was a grander scheme in place? Dan?
Oh, it's too hard to know. It could be Sam Altman, Mike Ketchmark, Zillow. Like it's I never doubt any conspiracy theory anymore, but I also don't spend a lot of time going down the
Thinking
rabbit
about it.
holes.
Yeah, same. Chris, any theories?
I did it.
It was Chris. I knew it.
It was Heller, of course. All right, let's move on to segment two. Segment two, touring agreements are the death of buyer trust. And you guys are gonna have to carry this one. Who wants to go first? Don't all
I've
give-
I've
somebody
never
else-
used one, so I don't know. I don't have a lot to say on it. I don't know why you would, as an agent, use it instead of just getting the regular buyer broker agreement.
Because you're a weak agent, maybe. I don't know.
We always just use the buyer broker agreements. I mean, I feel like you're not valuing yourself as an agent and you're putting yourself in a box by not pushing for the EBBAs and buyer brokerage agreements. And so I don't know. I would always push for a buyer broker.
So the essence of the question, Julie, check your WhatsApp,
I know.
please. The essence of the question is essentially, are you going to use a half measure of just getting a form signed so you can show a house and be in compliance, or actually getting an actual exclusive buyer's agency contract signed, which would take more skill? Chris, what do you think?
I think the end goal is what's important. I think there's how you get there. I'm not as hung up on. As an agent, I always want to do a couple things. One of the things I want to do is differentiate myself. And in case you touched on it, I want to be more professional than the other people they're talking to. I want to be more confident than the other people they're talking to. I want to be more competent than the other people they're talking to. And how I present how we work together, how I present my value proposition is like the first way and the first time that I get a chance to differentiate myself. So, whether it's and I think it also, Tim, depends on what that relationship is. Like, where did they come from? Were they a client referral? Were they someone in your farm that's heard from you multiple times? Was it an internet lead that you're set up on a blind date? I think that also impacts, how you move through that process.
So hover there. That's a really good point. So you guys run big teams, all right? And Dan, you guys have literally dozens of people that are part of your team. What's your policy? Do you do showing agreement or touring agreements, showing agreements, or do you guys just go right to let's put a ring on it?
We go right to the buyer broker agreement. If there's pushback, we offer them the cancellation guarantee and explain that.
All right, talk about that. Let's hover there. That's a really valid point.
Yeah, so there's, we just tell them like, look, we'll write in the additional clauses section that you can cancel this at any time with 24 hours written notice. So if there's, that way, if there's something I'm not doing that, that you feel is right, or you want me to elevate the service, or it's not up to par, whatever the reason, I have some time to at least fix it and try to win you back if that happens. So really there's no risk in signing this agreement. I'm not locking you in. Should we get started on the paperwork?
What are the exclusions?
Well, I mean, if we showed them the house, right, that would be excluded. But other than that, really, there's nothing.
Is it only showing a house that will you? So what we're saying here, guys, is he's basically offering the buyer's agents, or I'm sorry, the buyers, sign the exclusive. these, whatever their local board of realtors term form is, and then they're adding something that's saying specifically a service guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied with the services I'm providing, sounds like you can fire me with 24 hours with no strings attached. But then I'm asking him, what are the exclusions? Because if one of his agents has already shown a dozen houses, which is way too many, they shouldn't be showing that many. They need to be protected, especially if a couple of those were for sale by owners, and the for sale by owner and the buyer are trying to get together to collude to basically cut the agent out. So you want to pick it up from there?
Yeah, so that would be if we showed them the house, we're protected. And on the other flip side of that, if they come to us and they're like, "Hey, I've already found these two houses I'm interested in, I've been talking to the owner," or something weird like that, we'll exclude that as well. Or tell them like, "Hey, if you move forward with that, we'll do it for like a 0.5% or something, we're just helping you with the contract." That rarely ever happens though.
Like never, right? I mean,
Yeah.
have you, as far as all the house, you guys sell hundreds of houses. Has it ever happened? No. Casey, what are you thinking?
I mean, I always push my team and I to have the EBBA. Of course, for Dan, I do think him and Carrie are brilliant with keeping in the, you could always cancel at any time. We have followed them in the same proposition if somebody was uncomfortable. Now, I've had a handful of agents on my team that have signed just the touring agreements because they've had a really intense buyer and they want to stay compliant. So I train everyone to keep both documents printed in the back of their car and in an organizer just in case. But at the end of the day, I feel like I love to be like a hardball with them. I'm like, well, then we can't see the property. I'm really sorry. Like I really value my time and this is what I do. I'm not going to go against my worth and what I know that I can do for you and your family. And if you're literally willing to say like, hey, no, I'm not interested in signing this. I'm not very interested in saving 20, 30, $50,000 at closing and having someone negotiate on my behalf, then I don't think we're the right fit. And I've only ever had to say it like that twice to somebody, and both times of me saying it, they came back and signed it.
Do you guys,
Um,
Casey and Dan and Chris, I mean, and Julie, you have a lot of coaching clients. Julie, by the way, we do it the same way. We've always done it the same way. If you give them an out on the exclusive buyer agency contract, and we would require 48 hours notice in the whole thing. But the question really comes in is if they do see a for sale by owner and you show it to them and they want to essentially work directly with the FSBO, are you guys going to really hold them accountable to the buyer agent commission?
Absolutely.
Dan?
Probably not. I mean, it's just a lot of energy, legal fees, potential reputational damage. You know, probably not. Maybe we would position that way at initially and try to find a compromise, but like I wouldn't take someone to court over it.
No, I wouldn't either. The reputation damage would be ridiculous. Chris, do you have anything to add to this, or
No,
Julie?
I agree, Dan. I would have the conversation, but the conversation wouldn't be about our contract or obligations. It would be about the benefit and the value. And if I couldn't convince them of the value I could bring or the benefit they would get, and they still don't want to do it, then yeah, like Dan said, I'm not gonna burn the calories on,
Sorry,
you
in
know.
time out, I agree with you. I wouldn't take them to court or do any of that, but I would just be strong and like tell them I would exhaust every effort to make them think I would.
It
And
isn't agents that are doing this poorly, though. They're trying to present, that why they should have exclusive signed with buyers. That's just sending more buyers to listing agents. Are you guys experiencing that?
That's what I would say from a coaching standpoint. I hear that from my listing agents because, we coach our agents to be primarily listing agents. And I think it's been a huge benefit for listing agents. Their open houses are hotter. They have people calling on their sign. The listing agent always wins in the end.
And the
So,
the buyers aren't showing up asking for a kickback or a reduction in the overall
no,
commission.
I have no evidence of that.
Have you guys? So that's the bottom line is this is a real win for listing agents. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
agreed. This is why I keep literally beating a dead horse to my team and really any agents listening. I'm like, look, you got to get the listing because we are dominating in our market. We're literally leading in our market and representing both seller and buyer. And I've had sellers say to me, we see your post, we see your mailers. And I've had agents I literally just had a Compass agent reach out to me and said, how are you representing so many buyers and sellers right now? It's ridiculous. And I'm
Yeah, you
like,
have the listing. That's why.
I
Duh.
concur. Absolutely. I could chart it out, the increase in what Casey's saying since all of this went down, because there is a segment of the agent population that is still freaked out by this, who either won't have the conversation in the first place, will have a poor shot at the conversation. They'll just poorly present if they present at all, like sending over the agreement via text without any questions or any interview or any presentation whatsoever. Then they're surprised that the buyer ghosts them and goes straight to the listing agent. I mean, you could chart this out. I'm sure somebody has. It's
So
not
that
every time. And I would concur with Casey too, that I see a lot more both sides from listing agents.
So the
In
answer,
case,
the solution really is for them to have a more organized professional approach, which by the way, you guys will learn when you join all of us at eXp Realty, because when you join with any of us at eXp Realty or anybody on our overall group, you get Premier Coaching for free. And within Premier Coaching is a buyer presentation and a seller presentation. The buyer presentation, since this is the topic, is showing your value to that buyer, showing exactly what your service guarantees are, all the things that we talked about are already done for you. And so the presentation itself has already been created. You give them a folder that's essentially, if you guys have been listening to Julie and I, you know about the pre-listing pack for sellers. We've created something identical to that for the buyers. So you give this to the buyers prior to meeting with them, answers all the questions they might have, how you get paid, how commissions work, how everything works, and you give it to them prior to meeting with them. And then they're very clear that when they actually meet with you, they're going to be signing the exclusive buyer agency agreement. And if they don't, then that tells you they weren't very motivated in the first place. Do you guys require that all your buyers have been through a lender? And if you have, what level of qualification do you require? Or will you show buyers who actually haven't been through a lender, haven't had all the things done? Where's your threshold?
We again, depending on how that relationship came together. If it's like I said, a blind date, where it's an internet lead, we will meet with them first, and whether it's at a property or a consult or, regardless, we will show them that property first before we ask them to jump through hoops. I strongly believe you have to earn the right to have those conversations, and the best way to do that is to build trust and rapport. And it's hard to build trust and rapport on an internet lead that says, "Hey, I want to see this house. Can you show it to me?"
Yeah.
It comes down to presentation skills. I mean, the summary of all of this is being willing to meet, ideally in person, have an actual presentation where you answer questions, you objection handle, and you close. It's just the consternation is that we've gone, a couple hundred years of the buyer side not being like that. And so it seems weird. What's interesting is it's not weird to newer licensed agents,
They
because
just do
they're
it.
just learning that's how it is.
Yeah.
They're the ones that don't resist. It's agents that are like, I shouldn't have to do that types.
You guys have anything else to tack on to this? Or can we move on to the next topic?
Yeah. And by the way, anyone that ever has a thought, I shouldn't have to do this, needs to kill that thought.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you're wasting your time. Ultimately, it comes down to skill. Skills equals confidence, right? And if you're not doing it, you're probably just signing yourself up to waste time. Because believe it or not, there are droves for every one real buyer. There's like, I don't know, 20 that couldn't buy a house that they wanted to, or aren't really truly motivated. They're just sort of real estate curious. There's so many people out there like that, especially now. So yeah, get the exclusive.
Just one thing I'd add to that, Tim, though, everyone we meet is an opportunity.
For sure.
Right? Like they're an opportunity for referrals, for future business, for family business, for you name it. So, if you operate with that mindset, you'll find the opportunities. If you operate with the mindset that this is a good one, that's a bad one, this is a bad waste of time, good waste of time, then you'll miss those opportunities.
What you reaching for something, Case?
Right? That's a sign. Wait, what does that like? What does that mean? That means
That's an influencer move. Not just calling you a weirdo. Go ahead. He speaks Vulcan. He knew what that meant.
But I'll say too, to encourage the agents listening, how do you get excited about this and knowing that the buyers are coming to you? One thing that I've used in my listing presentations is I show them the stats. I literally print out my MLS stats showing all the ones that I've represented, both buyer and seller, as well as my team. And The fact is, when we are representing the buyer, we actually offer to discount the compensation to the seller. So instead of charging them a full amount, if we represent both sides, we give them a little bit of grace on the buy side when we bring our own buyer. And it honestly helps us because
It's a listing tool, right? That's what you're
Mhm.
describing. Yeah.
tool and we have the facts to show it. And so I would use that as leverage to your sellers. And even if some of you aren't representing buyers and sellers like you would like to, or maybe you're just not there yet, you should still offer to them, hey, in light of what's going on in our market and the industry, it's a proven fact that the buyers are now going directly to the listing agents. So use that as your superpower to also throw a bone to your seller and say, we'll discount the buyer's compensation. You know, I'm not greedy and I don't have an ego to do so for you. Buy or sellers love it and they appreciate it.
We have that as part of the pre-listing pack, which
Yep.
I was describing earlier that these guys get when they join with us at EXP. It's called the flexible fee commission structure. And that's the essence of how it works. So there's this commission if it sells this way, this commission if it sells this way, and then on down. And as you guys have all known from your experience, very rarely does it sell anywhere other than the normal way. But giving them the flexibility or showing them that you are flexible will oftentimes, as you've experienced and just expressed so brilliantly, win you the listing. Let's move on to segment 3. Who really controls your listing? Zillow, Compass, or the war on inventory? Now, this was a controversial topic because some of us thought, Chris Heller, thought this isn't something that people really cared about. But I think it is something that people care about because ultimately they want to know, listing agents especially, because that's most of our listeners are, higher end, more experienced real estate agents. Who controls the listing? What's all this pre-marketing? What's all this what is all this hooey about what's going on with Compass and what's going on with Zillow? Dan, why don't you start? Because I have a feeling you'll encapsulate this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real answer of who controls it is people like Casey. I mean,
The
I
listing
mean,
agent.
yeah, I mean, she's got agents from a company that spent $1 billion on technology to control listings, reaching out to her, asking her how she's selling so many of her listings. And so if that doesn't, I mean, if that
Yeah.
doesn't answer the question right there, I don't think anything else will. But I think in the broader picture, we had what Zillow said they were going to ban pre-marketed listings a year ago. Then Compass sued them, and then Compass did a deal with Redfin to pre-market the listings there, and then Zillow gave this similar deal to KW and Remax and a few other brokerages, and then EXP announced yesterday. So a lot happened in the last week, but EXP announced they had a deal with Realtor.com, Homes.com, and then for all intents and purposes, Google search results. Now, unlike the others, EXP's was open source, so that means their pre-market listings would go to anybody that wanted to show them. And then after all that happened, Zillow said, "Okay, we won't ban listings anymore," and so Compass dropped the lawsuit. So, now we're back to where we were a while ago, probably.
Casey, I want you to tell me how this pre-marketing, not putting on the MLS in essence, how that, and I'm not saying any of you guys, I want to understand both sides of this argument. And I don't understand how this supposedly is framed to benefit the seller, number one, because I only see it as hurting the seller. So I'm biased. How does Compass how does any of this benefit a seller? Chris, what's the pitch to a seller that these agents that work for these brokerages are being taught to say to a seller that it's going to benefit them?
I think the pitch is that, hey, we can gives us an opportunity to test the market to see where things are. Maybe we can shorten, which is counterintuitive and actually counter to logic, but we can potentially shorten the period of time it takes, reduce the amount of people coming through your home, but still get it sold. Uh, and I don't think there's a monetary piece to it, but
This is value range marketing in a different suit, isn't it? That's what this is.
uh,
Same thing.
yeah, look, it's
Casey, do you know
I
what that
remember
was?
years ago, I got a letter from the from our broker. This is how long ago it was. It was a letter. It wasn't an email. And it was telling me that I was being unfair because I was selling too many of my own listings and not giving the other agents an opportunity to sell them. And this was my broker, sending me, telling me that I'm selling too many of my own properties. And it's like, excuse me, I believe that's why these customers hired me, to sell their properties. So it's anything, well, it's companies, agents are always looking for the same thing, right? They're looking at how do they differentiate themselves? What advantage can they give themselves? And what Compass is doing and what they've been trying to do, I think is really smart. Do I think it's in the best interest of the seller? No.
Well,
Um,
let's stick with how this is perceived or how this is being marketed to sellers as an advantage, right?
Right.
Because okay, go ahead, Casey.
So, two things. The benefit for the seller is, let's say, for example, like right now, I have two sellers that are actively painting the inside of their house. One of them, the outside is ready, but the inside's not quite ready. So if we went into coming soon status, we have up to 21 days in our MLS. I don't know if that's the same for all MLSs for you guys. But Dan, like I don't know how many days you get on coming soon, before they force you to go into active. Ours is
Yeah,
21 days.
it's 21 unless it's new construction in Bright MLS.
Okay, so for us, same thing. If they needed, some margin to, fine tune the house, but we wanted to get exposure and we wanted to, put in the MLS remarks, hey, we're having an open house and a broker's open on these dates, just to prepare and get people to get, looking and kind of excited for whatever listing we're about to launch, but can't quite show it yet. That is the advantage. And I'm so thankful for Leo for the way that he is presenting it. I think is genius because I've said before, I really believe that Come Home, which is the one that's integrated with Google, I think that they're going to blow up. I think I said it on our first podcast that we ever filmed. I don't know if you guys remember. I think Google is going to blow up for real estate for us, and I think it's going to be a great thing. I think and Zillow is obviously amazing as well, but Homes.com, Google, Realtor, all those are still great, strong softwares. And for Leo to angle this to help EXP agents specifically to get more exposure for the clients without feeling how do I say this, negative backlash from Zillow or any of these other portals where we're going to get boxed out like Compass did, I think it's going to set us up for success. But the way that Compass is doing theirs with the exclusives, it does make it hard because you are basically only funneling to people that are signed up with Compass's network. It's not like
Well,
agents.
I don't understand. This is the part I need you guys' help with. So I can see this is if they're not going under the MLS and you have a big brokerage and you control 300,000 agents or however many agents they are in control of now, and you're trying to recruit agents. So I can see this as a killer recruiting tool. That's how I see it. And if you're going and you're meeting with agents and you say you have this private network of homes that are for sale, and we know there's not enough homes available, and you have some buyers and your buyers can't find anything because then they're competing too much on the MLS with when things actually hit the MLS. But oh, we have this exclusive listing service that you're going to be able to bring, that we're only going to make available to the agents that are in our tent, right? The whole Compass tent. I can see that as a recruiting tool. We're going to pivot here. And I was listening to what you were saying, Casey, it got me thinking. So I don't see how this is an advantage to a seller. I think this would be the easiest thing to beat in any listing presentation. And this feels like a massive hack to compensate for agents that are piss poor pricing. But what this really is it's trying to be a hook for Compass to recruit more agents for the reasons I just stated. Julie, what are you thinking?
I think that that's the only benefit that I can see to it. And I can totally see them, pitching the exclusive early access, all that kind of buzzword thing. But as far as whether it actually helps a seller, I don't see how I could possibly help a seller. I don't. I mean, the more access come. I am a fan of coming soon. I think that that's smart. I think that that's a brilliant thing to do to pre-market and kind of gauge things. I think that's great, but to exclude it to just one brand, I think is dumb.
I like this raising hand thing. Let's keep
Hey,
up with
Casey,
that.
but you have to do it the right way. It's like, okay.
Okay, so for those of you guys who are listening, we're doing the live long and prosper hand signal from
For all of you.
for Star Trek. Yeah, Chris
So
brought that in, of course.
can I just say this really quick? With what Julie was saying, I love coming soon status, but keep this in mind from a seller's perspective and from a buyer's perspective too. If you are listed exclusively in Compass and you're not syndicated or integrated with Zillow and you look up that address like any smart savvy buyer does. If they're having to log in to this Compass platform to look at the listing, right? But they want to show the listing to their husband or their spouse, whatever friend. And the quickest thing to do is to go onto Google and search the address and then pull up the Zillow link, right? That's what most buyers are going to do when they're looking at a listing. What's happening is they're going to see the Zestimates, they're going to see the old listing photos, they're going to see the old suggested pricing. And then like suddenly, this is what I use in my listing presentations when I talk about what's different between our company and the others they're interviewing. That exclusive Compass platform, to me, it actually does them such a disservice because if people are savvy and smart and they go to research the listing and other platforms, they're going to get a way lower estimate and they're going to get, not updated information. So they're going to use that as an objection right off the bat when comparing to their exclusive Compass website.
So that's an awesome point. So this is just basically so far the only thing we can all sort of agree to. This is only benefiting Compass and that it's a good listing or recruiting tool.
Well, and they only sell like single digit percentages off the MLS. So that it's a really, really low amount.
What do you mean by that? Explain.
Of all the homes that go into these off-market exclusive programs for them, the amount that sell before going into the MLS.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Single
Well,
digit
that's a great
percentage.
stat to use in a listing presentation.
Yeah, it's a gimmick, I guess. We should have made this one Hooey or Chewy. Chris, you were about to say something earlier, I think.
Oh, I was going to talk. There's another twist to the recruiting part, but we can keep moving. It's put in the Huey pile.
Okay, so as far as just so that I'm clear, and just so everyone else is clear, if you just because it's it's not officially in the MLS and it's in a Compass's coming soon thing, it doesn't mean it's firewalled. The public can still go on and search the coming soon Compass listings, correct?
Right,
Yeah.
or they can see them on Redfin because Compass signed the deal with the Redfin, which is interesting because they signed their deal first, and now Redfin's like the fourth place portal in terms of monthly views.
All right, so this is definitely Hooey because then how long is it going to take? And Chris, this was your point earlier when you were debating whether this should even be a topic, I think. How long is it going to take for AI to essentially completely bypass all these portals and you're just going to have your own agentic AI, which is providing all the searches for you. And it's going to scrape, if you want to use that term, all these different search databases. And if you're telling me this Compass data, MLS basically isn't firewalled or isn't, somehow made it so you need a username and password. I don't get it. I just truly don't get it.
Yeah, I built something out.
It is. You have to either have to talk to a Compass agent or you have to sign up to be able to see them.
Yeah. So
not
what?
If not if they're on Redfin though.
Yeah.
Not if they're on Redfin. I don't know if they go on Redfin on day one. Though.
So it's 3 stages. It's the, hey, tell my friends at the office, put it on the thing that only the Compass agent sees. And then stage 2 is, okay, put it on Redfin, 50 million, monthly viewers. And then stage 3 is full MLS.
So we are agreeing, though, this is a disadvantage because I can't see any way it's an advantage to the seller. I cannot see a single way. And Dan, your little stat there, I think you peaked this topic when you said less than 1% actually sell prior to it going.
No. Not less than 1, but it's a single digit percentage. So it's under 10.
Insignificant. Yeah.
Insignificant.
That means less than 10.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Chris.
I take screenshots of Compass's. Wait, I don't know if I should say this or not actually on this podcast.
Oh, you're going to now that you said it.
Oh.
No cliffhangers.
Can I say this? Compass agents that are my friends, I'm sorry. Love you guys. But I literally use this, what I just said to you guys, I use a snipping in my listing presentations, and I don't just say it, I show them when I'm at the table of why it's different. Because if it comes up, I want them to be able to see, like, let's say you're in this Compass exclusive site, and then somebody does their homework. This is what it looks like in Zillow, and this is what it looks like in Redfin. This is what it looks like in Realtor.com, and this is why you need to hire an agent that knows how to hide those different estimates and things that you shouldn't be having. So that way people aren't giving you an automated estimate and price across all platforms unless you know that you are undervaluing the property. And I use it as a tool in my listing presentation. So I literally have it built out in my presentation. with that home and it snips it so people can understand what I'm talking about and why it's important not to go that route.
So, Casey, you're saying something interesting. Do you suspect that the Compass agents are using this as a way to agree with the seller to list it at a higher price and then use the coming soon status to basically prove to the seller that that price is too high and then correctly price it? So this is a weak skills. Do you guys remember value range? I doubt Casey knows about this. You guys all remember that? It was a Coldwell Banker that was doing that?
No, it was my company that started in San Diego. Prudential California Realty launched it.
Okay,
We,
Julie,
we
do you
went
remember
to we
that?
went to
I do
Australia,
remember.
studied the auction process, and
So
hired
Casey,
this
what they would do
consultant.
is you're going to list a house today for that's worth, let's just say the real price is $1 million, right? And so what they would do, well, Chris, you can explain it because you go
Yeah,
ahead.
we would the goal was to create an auction type dynamic. So let's say you were going to list it for 750. Instead of listing it at a fixed price, you would list it in a range. And the range might be 675 to 750. And it says seller will respond to any offer within the range. So the goal is to try to get people that maybe weren't shopping at 750, but that were shopping at 675 to see the house and hope that they could get it for that and make an offer. And then once offer is made, it's normal negotiations. But it was a way to try to get more activity and more offers on
But
properties.
it didn't really work like that when they actually hit the marketplace here because listing agents were basically using it to compensate to placate the seller on overpricing. And then,
The weaker inexperienced agents they would price it from 750 to 850,
Right.
if
There's a
the
lot of
price should have
that.
been 750,
to
which
try to buy
which
the listing. Yeah.
yeah, to buy the listing, and which actually worked against them and the seller when they did that.
100%. You know what, guys? This will be interesting. And Dan, this is probably something you can do in like 22 seconds. It'll be very fascinating to find out what Compass's sale through rate is when it went the coming soon route and then hit the MLS,
Mhm.
what their expired rate is. Is it just the average or is it worse? And what the list to sell price ratio is. So, how does this actually play out to benefit the seller? And I'm going to guess that it probably doesn't. All right, you guys ready to move on?
Ready?
All right. So this next topic is kind of weird, but I think it's relevant. Julie and I had a lot of fun thinking about this. Not real estate related on the surface, but it actually is. Are you guys familiar with what Elon is doing with Tesla Cybercabs? Are you familiar with that?
I've like seen it, but I didn't know if it was legit or not because where
Right.
I've seen it
It
doesn't
sounds
seem
crazy, right? So,
yeah.
so there are there's these little cars that are two-seaters that have no steering wheels, no pedals. They're completely autonomous. Everyone thought they were vaporware, but they're not. And he's actually making them right now. And supposedly he's almost got 1,000 of these pre-made, and he's going to be selling these on the market. I'm going to make this relevant to real estate in 2 seconds. So nobody knew until like 2 weeks ago that he was going to make these available to consumers. Everyone thought he was selling this because he was going to start his own Uber or Lyft competitor. What he's actually going to do is he's going to start his own Uber and Lyft competitor, but he's going to sell these cars to consumers. So Casey Anderson is going to be able to buy 5 of these or 10 of these or 20 of these. And the cash flow in these things, these are going to cost like 30 grand. They're designed to last 5 to 600,000 miles. And when you're not using it, it's going to be out there basically working for you, earning, a fare. And believe it or not, he's setting up these where the taxis will go to be cleaned. He said he's created robots that are going to be vacuuming them and cleaning them, so you don't have to do anything. So what we're going to see is the proliferation of these Tesla Cybercabs everywhere. And entrepreneurially minded folks are going to be able to start their own little cab businesses, or at the very least, you're never going to have to buy a car, which is how this becomes real estate related. You won't want to buy a car. Most people aren't car enthusiasts. I'm a car nerd, because they can call up a cybercab, which they'll be everywhere. So that's going to be coming to a town near you. They're already doing it. They're going to supposedly roll out first in Austin, and they're already being seen. People are seeing these things roll around.
I've got a question for you about this,
Yes,
Tim.
yes, dear.
Do you know whether there are restrictions in branding them? You said you could wrap them because they all come from the factory gold, right?
You won't want to because you're just going to buy. I know this is the strange part because you're thinking competitively, but
No, I've had coaching clients ask me if, let's say that, they send it out to pick up their client to take them to a closing. Does it say EXP on the side and your name? I mean,
You can
that
have
kind of
it.
branding.
You could have your own private fleet of cars that just basically, Casey, you like this and Daniel like this, that basically you pre-program to go out and hold the buyers around and show them the houses in the order in which they're supposed to be seen. You could do that. But what does this change with real estate? How does this change with city planning? How does this change overall? What are you guys thinking?
Marketing.
Yep. You
That's
know
what
what?
every agent I've talked to goes to is exactly
I
what
would, I
Casey.
would literally
But
do it just for marketing because billboards around here, like, or not here, but in Florida are like, they're like 60 grand for 8 months on a main, like on federal.
Mhm.
So, which is a major highway here. So like, I would do it just to wrap it. My car's wrapped and
Casey,
I get,
not just yours, but every other person that small startup entrepreneur. You and Drew should totally do this, by the way. They're supposedly coming for sale next year. You guys should buy a bunch of these. And I've seen people do cash flow on these things and they pay for themselves at 30% utilization within 6 months. And that's if you buy it with 20% down, right?
Okay, let me ask you that
Hey,
so
oh,
they understand it. Is Tesla doing financing?
No, but supposedly getting financed for something that basically has a cash flowing object like this thing will be easily financed. But
Somebody
I
will.
want I want you guys to go back to what Casey said because it's freaking genius. She was thinking about branding on her own cabs. Casey, what if you were to go to everybody else that started their own little cab business and you were to start taking out advertising on their cabs? What if you were to start, you get what I'm getting at with here? So let's say in your major town, right, there's 1,000 of these things rolling out. You know who they are. You go to them and you pay them a certain amount of money for exposure for your brand. That's a killer idea. Chris, what are you thinking?
Um, I was thinking how many I'm going to buy. And I just sold my car in Austin. I had a Tesla. I sold it. And so I don't have a car there now. And because I live close to downtown and you know, use Waymo and my bike and my feet. But this would be the perfect thing. It could be being utilized while I was not there.
All right.
Um,
I
I think it's hard to get my mind around all the things it's going to impact and can impact. I mean, it's almost endless. Um, you
well,
know,
think about real estate. Will we need garages anymore?
will we need what anymore?
Garages. Will houses need garages anymore if everybody's basically using a ride share? What will happen with the houses with the garages? Will we be able to make those an alternative dwelling units? These are all conversations that no one's having that I think are going to be very fascinating to see. Okay, so think about
I
this.
think that's where we keep the human bodies that will cultivate to create the energy to charge the vehicles, our fleet of vehicles.
Okay, so everyone just
I think it'll devalue some big cities because
explain.
well, why do I want to live in a small condo or small row house when I can move further out, have my autonomous car drive me in, I can watch Netflix or read a book or do work on the way in. So now that commute is less painful. So more people are going to be willing to like move away from the cities for more
How much
space.
how much of your life right now is governed by the hassle factor of driving? Would you do more in general? I mean, think about
Yeah. I'm an Uber driver like 3 nights a week for the kids' sports. So
it. Totally. Julie's an Uber driver every morning for Zoe.
I
So,
know. And that, don't discount the safety factor too, because I think insurance will come down. And, one of the problems with branding a car and having your team members drive around would be worrying about how well they're driving with your number on the side, right? But the cyber taxi is going to be a safe driver. So, that takes care of that. So,
what if you could buy a house, Casey, and this house had a big ass 3-car garage in your marketplace, but all of a sudden, for say, there's a new Drew, right? He's going to start Drew is her husband, by the way. He's going to start a construction business where he's going to start converting all these garages into basically, apartments that can be rented out. So now all of a sudden, when you're buying one of these big houses, there's going to be a garage there that's legally able to also generate revenue. Maybe it's a VRBO or whatever. Think about what that does for people's ability to qualify for mortgages.
mhm.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've seen people do that already here, and I don't feel like it's as successful as what we think it could be. I think in our market with garages and converting it, you're better off creating a separate a separate detached structure garage to do that rather than the ones that are attached to the homes.
I'm just throwing spitballs. I'm just saying how this relates to real estate because
Well,
how
it
much
could change new construction floor plans. You don't have
exactly
to have even a one-car garage if you don't want it. I think there'll be more options, especially with row houses, townhomes, condos.
parking garages. I mean, it's pretty extraordinary. And how about this? If you don't have to have a automotive expense anymore, because they were figuring out that the cost per mile is going to drop to about 50 to 60 cents per mile. And if you don't have an automotive related expense anymore, that's a lot of cash flow can go towards other things. I mean, it's pretty extraordinary. And so pay attention to that space because they're going to come to market for 30,000. And I think everyone who's even got a half of a light bulb on is going to realize the potential of starting their own cab business. Julie, we have a little bit of time left. Do you want to click on the iTunes thing so we can read some of the reviews and thank people? By the way, so if you guys are not subscribing to our newsletter, it's powerhousetalk.com. The link is down below. And if you want to move forward and frankly, improve your life and your real estate career, do please consider joining with us at eXp Realty. The links for these guys are down below, and you can explore joining with any of these, hosts as your sponsor. And we strongly encourage you to hit one of those sites, check out to see what we're offering on top of what eXp offers. And I think you'll see that it's an easy decision for you to move forward with us. Julie, do you have some of those?
I do. This one's titled Moving the Needle from Danielle King, realtor, who writes, Powerhouse Talk has quickly become part of my regular rotation. I'm not new to real estate, but I am newly licensed in a market where I'm also a transplant. Listening to all of you gives me a steady dose of perspective and focus. So thank you, Danielle, for that. The next one is from Jim Westland. He says, it can get noisy out there trying to figure out who to listen to and to learn from. In a world where everyone has sold one home, tries to be an influencer, it's a breath of fresh air to listen to this show. 6 proven real estate leaders in sales and coaching. Let's see, one or two more. Practical and useful. This person is just calling themselves Cell 247. I have really enjoyed listening to this podcast. You have a powerhouse panel who gives practical and useful tips for this market. And the last one is short from Roger, the deal architect. He calls himself. No BS, straight real estate guidance and advice. And there's a lot more, but I just wanted to give those shout outs. Thank you guys for posting those great reviews. Back to you, Tim.
And when you guys do give us a review, a 5-star review, don't wimp out and give us a 4-star. Come on now. On either Spotify or iTunes, let us know by messaging us directly, or you can just text me, frankly, say I left you guys a review. My cell phone number is down below in the show description, or it's 512-758-0206. Text, don't call, 512-758-0206, and say, I just left you a review on iTunes. And then we will thank you. What I'd love to do is basically say, hey, Roger from, Minnesota, Minneapolis, wherever, and then give your contact information. Thank you for that. That way you guys can get maybe some potential referrals. All right, guys, I think we did it, and we did it in an hour. That feels pretty good, right? We went over a lot of topics.
5s.
We did it. Yeah,
5.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. You guys have a great week. And if you have any show topic ideas, please message us over on Instagram. Or again, you can just text me directly. We certainly and sincerely appreciate the 5-star reviews and the continued support. Casey, do you have something else you wanted to say? Or are we good?
Don't hang up. We have to take a video/selfie video. Ready? Everybody
Look at that phone holder. So fancy.
Very fancy.
My logo.
It's very influencer.
Ready? All right, influencer on 3. Wave. Influencer.
All right, there you go. Can't do better than that.
Nope.
Casey, enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Bye.
Orlando will be back next week. He's in Washington, D.C. Have a great week, guys.